So Devon Larratt versus Denis Cyplenkov. I was kind of shocked to see Denis basically starting in this position. His arm was already like this when he was starting, kind of palm over. Not saying that Devon was forcing him in this position, but Denis was not fighting for it at all. Like, how can you start in this position and win a super match? And I don't think it would have mattered either ways, but he should have tried at least. And after the match, when he was asked about who your next opponent is, Denis clearly told the translator and the fans that he is probably not ready for this shape of Devon Larratt. So is it meaning that he's going to quit? Is that what he was trying to say? I hope we see Denis Cyplenkov back, but he did say that it will be up to the organizers who he faces next. Before that, he was talking about Cyplenkov and Levan, and now it seems that his confidence is gone. Looks like the good thing is that Engin Terzi was there to motivate him. He said that you're the best. Devon said that you're probably the best. Then it brought a short-lived smile on Denis Cyplenkov's face, but it is what it is, man. I hope he continues. He's probably 5-10% off from the top of the food chain. So let's start with the highlights of the match. Fia Reisek versus Rosa Acosta Maria. So first round, Fia was forced in a hook by Rosa, and then after that, Fia proved to be way too much. Her top roll with or without the straps was way too much. Being like 30 kilos lighter than her opponent, she still showed dominance. She was the recent Riyadh Combat Games champion, and she is now the East versus West dominant arm wrestler at her weight as well, destroying ladies over her weight as well. Very dominant performance from Fia Reisek. And then the next match was between Matt Mask and Frank Lamparelli. We saw something from Matt that we had never seen before. Was it a king's move? No, it wasn't. It was a flop press from Matt Mask. Can you imagine? First round inside the straps. Too much side pressure from Frank Lamparelli. Towards the end of the pin, he even cracked Matt's wrist back slightly. His hand was stronger, but the arm was kind of equal. But then, after that, he got another pin, and in the third round, Matt was forced in a flop press position. Matt was desperate. He was not ready to go down. Frank Lamparelli had to kind of bail out with an elbow foul. Matt's flop press. Although his transitioning to press for the pin was terrible, but he did show great heart. And even in the final round, he won that round on fouls, and in the final round, he switched to a flop press once again. Did not work. Poor timing, extremely terrible timing when he went behind his shoulder for a press. Did not work. Lost 3 pins to 1. Artem Tainov versus Sasho Andreev. Artem Tainov dominated Sasho 3 pins to 0. He tried to top roll Sasho, didn't work. Immediately, one of the fastest switches to a press position, and he got the job done. 3 pins with a press, and the match was over. A flop press as well. So Sasho started top rolling in the final round, in the third round. So Artem switched to a flop press and beat Sasho Andreev. After that, Tainov got tired. He was not motivated enough, and it was 2 top roll victories for Sasho Andreev. So the overall score was 3-2 in favor of the new East versus West 95 kg left arm champion Artem Tainov. Before that, we had Kamil Jablonski versus Ivan Matyushenko, the hookmaster. In the first round, I saw a pin from Ivan, and I've never seen a pin that fast ever in my life. It was basically ready to go, and it was like this. Maybe like, you count how much reaction time you need, and that was the entire time it took for him to pin. Maybe it's like 0.2 seconds or something like that. Then Kamil Jablonski fouled for a few times. I think the referee missed something. If you give 2 warnings for early start and there is 1 foul already, and the match is restarting, 1 foul on Kamil Jablonski for two false starts. Then he false starts again. I'm not sure in that same round. It was not a different round. It was the same round. It was just a restart. How can he receive 1 more first warning after that, after having given already 2 false start warnings? So I think it was a mistake from the referee. I'm kind of 75% sure about that. And then after the restart, he false started once again. So 4 false starts, it was over. In the third round, he was dad moved by Ivan. The press was blocked, and Ivan beat him easy as expected by almost everyone. So that was the result of that match. And then let's see which is the match that we have with us. Ivan versus Kamil. Yeah, possibly that was after that. And one of the most exciting matches was Todd Hutchings versus Ketergali Ongarbaev. We're going to talk about that. But before that, Abdul Manaf Tuziev versus the current champion, the defending champion, 6 times champion, I think, David Samushia. Samushia proved to be way too much. People were surprised. I was surprised to see young 24-year-old Abdul Manaf Tuziev get a quick hook win over the champ Samushia in the first round. Everyone was shocked because he's only 24 years old. He got like 2-3 weeks notice to pull against Samushia, and he's much lighter than him as well, probably 5 kilos lighter at least. Young man is probably going to take over that category in the future. Maybe it will take a few years. Irakli Zirakashvili versus Rustam Babaiev. Amazing back and forth. Irakli got the first win, quick top roll, side pressure win, dominant. He showed his presence. Then Rustam forced the hook on Irakli. I don't remember anyone forcing the hook on Irakli lately, and Rustam did that in the second round, and it was over. Third round, Irakli top rolled him once again, couldn't crack the wrist back, but too much side pressure hit him sideways, and one single surge got the job done. Rustam was feeling something in his chest. He was rubbing it after every single round. The next round, Rustam surprised with a surprise top roll victory of his own and got the job done. But in the final round, he was top rolled once again. Vaitkute versus Sarah Backman. Sarah Backman was dominated by Agle. I was not expecting that. Sarah said that Agle is the mountain that I have never been able to climb, but it is different now. I lost to her last time 11 years ago. Now I'm heavier. We are at the same weight. Before that, we are lighter. But Agle just curled her in and beat her. It was a championship match at 80 kilos, right arm title match. That's why there were 5 rounds. And she even stonewalled. She posed with Sarah. She held her and then beat her with ease. This is something that Gabriela Vasconcelos was never able to do in their both of their super matches. Agle Vaitkute may be the new dominant force. She said that she has never stopped training since the day she lost to Gabriela Vasconcelos. Maybe that's why she's motivated so much. Maybe she deserves a title match against Barbora, or maybe she needs to beat Gabriela first. Zaur Paizulaev versus Georgi Tsvetkov. I'm not sure why Zaur took this match. He was never going to win it. Stylistic nightmare for him. Zaur Paizulaev's wrist got cracked by Georgi Tsvetkov 3 times in a row, and it was not close. Basically, he got the start to the side, then Georgi pronated through his wrist, and after the first round, Zaur was completely gassed. The way he's built, getting completely behind your shoulder is like this. Zaur cannot even do this much. So there is no way if his wrist is taken, he cannot beat anyone in this world. 3-0, unfortunately, I'm still a big fan of Zaur, but his hype has died. He should have never taken this match in my opinion. Todzilla versus Todzilla versus Kindergali Ongarbaev. Performer of the night, player of the night. Give that award to Todzilla already. I know Devon was good, but Todzilla is the man of the night. Man of the match. So Todd Hutchings out top rolled Kindergali Ongarbaev. He was way too fast, he was way too strong, and he had way too much pronation and top roll. Todd Hutchings is the fastest and the best top roller in the world, in the business right now at this weight. So top rolled Ongarbaev 3 times. Ongarbaev held him here for about a minute and a half, which was a bad decision. Ongarbaev for the entire match except for the third round, except for maybe 10-15 seconds in the third round, he was always hovering above the pad. His hair, if he has any hair on his fingers, they were touching the pin pad already. That was the kind of match that we saw. And Ongarbaev was not fit enough or in a good enough cardiovascular shape to pull the next 2 remaining rounds because it was a title match. Todzilla was that dominant, and that's probably the happiest Todzilla that we have seen, even happier than beating John Brzenk. So 3-0, easy not easy. The third round wasn't easy. First 2 rounds were kind of, I'll still say he was never out of position. So that was dominant. 3-0, new champion. And he's not going to step down to 95 kilos. He's going to continue there for a while. Sasha Andreev versus John Brzenk, man. That proved to be a mismatch towards the end. Sasha was way too strong. He had way too endurance, way too much cupping for John Brzenk. Got the job done. 3-0 for Sasha. They did not continue. No, they did continue after that. They pulled the entire 5 rounds, I think. Towards the end, Sasha even beat John without the straps. He tried to top roll, but then John kind of curled him in, but in the hook. Sasha, right from round 2, was easing John Brzenk down to the pad. He was kind of being careful with him. It was one of the easiest matches of the night after Sarah versus Agle Vaitkute, of course. Dominant victory, still the champion, not the new champion. Then Denis Cyplenkov versus Devon Larratt. The first round was good. I will say I was happy after seeing Denis Cyplenkov's performance after the first round. The only 2 things that bothered me, that make me kind of hate this match, the biggest one is Denis Cyplenkov did not hit the king's move, man. Bro, what were you thinking? You always used to be the guy who hit the king's move. before going down. You did that against Dave Chaffee, against Andre Pushkar. Why not now? I think this question Denis needs to answer. Maybe Bab can ask him this question. But why not the King's move? Ask Denis this question everywhere you go, everywhere you see him. And he was starting basically like this in this position against Devon. And he was like always like this. Devon was rocking him back and forth, rolling out, coming back, rolling out, coming back. Devon tried to finish many times, but he cannot. In the final round, Denis tried to flop press, but then he got almost pinned. He stopped pulling. Devon slammed his hand down to the pad, had an elbow foul. It was a restart, so we thought that Devon has won 3-0. And by the way, in the second round, Devon flash pinned Denis Cyplenkov, so that was a very dominant win as well. They restarted, once again, same thing. Devon rolled out, came back, rolled out, came back, did that 10-12 times, got the win. It was over for Denis Cyplenkov, 3-0. Denis looked demotivated and he looked sad. Sad is one word that was showing on his face after he lost that match, and he said that he's probably not going to be ready for this version of Devon Larratt, and he'll see what the promoters offer him after that. And one of the highlights, Devon and Georgi Tsvetkov. Devon said that, Georgi, I can even beat you right now. And I was like, bro, Devon is going to get top rolled like he has never been top rolled ever in his life if he decides to pull Georgi Tsvetkov. I was like, this is a joke. This has to be a joke. There is nothing that Devon can do to Georgi right now.